Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, the 23rd of October. We continue looking at the book of Revelation and the reading this morning from Revelation chapter 9, verses 13 to the end. And again, the author, presumably St. John, speaks of great and terrible ordeals that will strike the earth. In the reading today, it's as if there is a people group that will rise up and destroy significant and large numbers of the earth, bringing about great and terrible suffering and death. But the author, John, goes on to say that even so, those who survived continued with their evil practices, and he gives the list. It's demonic worship, practicing of some bad magic arts, of theft and murder and sexual immorality, of worshipping of idols. And for me, it's interesting because, number one, it gives us an indication of what are the things that God does not like and tolerate, and worshipping of demons. In other words, in a sense, I suppose we can say worshipping anything or anyone else except God. There is only one God and he made everything. How can we then worship something else? It has to be purely of our imagination, or it is Satan himself. And either way, it all would boil back down to Satan. And God detests that incredibly. And we must ask ourselves, what do we worship? What is it that we follow blindly? Is it perhaps our money, our freedom, our privileges? And the idols that we might have, again, might speak of our money and our house and the freedoms that we have. And what's fascinating is that the writer speaks of these idols who have eyes but cannot see. They have a mouth but they cannot speak. They have legs and they cannot walk. Arms they do not touch. And in a wonderful way, it shows that we worship a God who is not an idol. He has eyes and he can see. He has hands and he reaches out and he touches us. He has legs and he walks this earth. We see that principally in the person of Jesus Christ. He has a mouth and he talks to us. And we know in prayer that we can talk to God and he answers our prayer. Things happen. We can hear, in inverted commas, God speak. Sometimes it's as if we hear the very voice of God. Other times God speaks to us through other people. But what we're saying is that God speaks. He's so much more than an idol. Why would we want to turn our backs on him? And it is this which brings about the consequences and the end times. Those who purposefully, maliciously ignore God and go after something of their own creation. And they will face the punishment. God will come back. This God who has eyes and can see, has ears and can hear, and a mouth who can talk, whose hands and feet he can walk around and touch us. This God is coming back. What is your relationship with that God? Have you got anything that takes you away from God, takes you away from the worship of church? And church is not just some hermit existence where you can go off into the bush on your own, as wonderful as that is, and think, I am worshiping. Worship needs to be corporate with other people. And our tradition is it is on a Sunday morning. Doesn't have to be, I suppose, on a Sunday morning. Talk to your minister about a church service that you can attend at some other time. But folks, how do you measure up against that list? So go and read Revelation 9, verses 13 to 21. And it's there, verses 20 and 21, where the writer speaks of all the things that God does not like and for which he is punishing the people. Folks, have a wonderful weekend and grow closer to God. He is not an idol. He has eyes. He is watching. He has a mouth. He wants to talk to you. God bless.